feel like that's how you come together and unity wise, as far as
Hmm.
just different ethnicities. I've come to realize in my experience, I've met a lot of friends outside my race from just sports alone.
Yeah,
So having sports is a must.
yeah.
But I do hope the NBA do not resume their season though. You
In
know,
Disney World, I think I saw something about
yeah,
that.
I'm against that. I'm against that, John. Like, I say it because I feel like, if they start the season, then it's almost as if you're just this distraction starts happening
Mhm.
where we're no longer focusing on the main issue. And for me, as a black man in America, the main issue is what we're dealing with is just pure racism. And I feel like, if they continue the season right now, then it's just gonna boom out of nowhere. Then 5 years later, we're going to be dealing with the same crap where we could be already in the process of just working together and fixing whatever that needs to be fixed.
Yeah.
And it does suck because I've been the past few weeks, I've actually been in the middle of everything. I mean, I personally, I fight, John. I train over there in Port of Impact with Coach Yoko. I'm very blessed to have him in my life, and I'm very blessed to have Mike too. And we had my first debut in January, and it didn't go as planned and whatnot, but I've gained a lot of knowledge from that, and I'm looking forward to return. And but when this whole thing went down, it's like, man, John, when George Floyd had died, or the way that he had died, like I started getting sensitive. I started crying and everything because I know my history and I know what my people have been through, and I felt like it was some type of spiritual calling for myself to go out there and protest because a lot of people know me and they and I feel like if you really know me, I'm a genuine dude. I don't go out there and promote hatred or try to start anything because I have friends that are white, I have friends that are Hispanic, I have friends Asian, I have friends of all ethnicity, and they know my true intentions of everything. So I went out there with a peaceful sign. Um, I can't memorize what I said, but it was basically how I want to live with you and unity and all this. And so further along, I went to a protest, my first protest actually. Man, John, I've never ever been to nothing like this. This is some stuff that you see on movies, and you see, like, you watch history and you're like, dang, that's interesting. But to be a part of history, it was like, wow, because I went out there and in LA. I think it was Fairplex. Went out there protest. It was beautiful, man. Like everyone came together. Everyone's walking peaceful sign, and then the police came. And one side you have the protesters, another side you have the police, and like I'm in the middle of it, standing on a car. And the car I was standing on, it was already burnt. It was already messed up, vandalized, and so I took it. I was like, you know what? This is a perfect time to just stand my ground, because I have a peaceful sign. I want people to see my sign, that I'm really out here for change, because before I went out, John, I hear a lot of people, especially non-black people, will talk about, oh, this movement, oh, all they're doing is just vandalizing, looting, blah blah blah, and me being a black man, I'm like, I can't let this happen. I can't let people, not see what we're really trying to do, what the real message is. Because when you're out there, John, you cannot control a big crowd. You got a crowd of just everybody. And when you have a crowd of just everybody, you get the taggers, you get the looters, you get certain people that are not really for the cause, and to watch it on the news is bad. But when you're there, you're saying, okay, this is no one's looting over here, no one's doing all this. But let me get to the first time of my first protest. Like I was saying, I was standing on the car, and like there were people that were vandalizing and they wanted to flip that car over. But I was on it, and I'm like, nah, you ain't flipping this car over. Mm-mm. Well, like, this car is already beat up, bro. You're not flipping over. So since I wasn't looting or vandalizing, the guys that were vandalizing, they were like, oh, you're an actor. They call me an actor, John. You're an actor. You're not here for, I was like, bro, what are you talking about? I'm a black man. Like, I'm experiencing this. I've experienced racism my whole life. Like, I'm out here for change. Look at my sign. I'm not out here to promote hatred or anything. So, we kind of got into it, and then he left it alone. He didn't flip the car or whatnot. So I was on that car for about 3 hours. And while I'm holding my sign up, John, like I'm looking at everybody and I'm seeing how everyone's reading my sign like that, and they're getting emotional too because I'm a black man and I'm promoting love, but obviously the news is not promoting that.
Mm.
And so I through the crowd, I see this gentleman, this white gentleman, long hair, and he had a chain around his neck. And I'm getting chills right now even thinking about it. He had a chain around his neck, and like looking at him and looking at his eyes read, go down line and everything, I see him get a little emotional, and I kind of shed a tear because I felt like he was speaking to me without speaking to me. He was speaking to my ancestors too, because when my ancestors were brought over here in chains and whatnot. So seeing him in that, I felt like he understood my history. So he looked at me. He was like, "Hey man, can I give you a hug?" It's like, "Yeah." So he gets on top of the car. He gives me a hug and he looks me in my eyes and he's like, "I love you, man. I'm here for you. I'm here to protect you. I wish I could protect every single one of you guys say, but God sent me to protect you." I was like, "Dang." I was like, "All right, man, John. When I say this gentleman stood in front of me, he stood in front of me. If I moved to the right, he moved to the right. I moved to the left, he moved to the left. He made sure that I was right behind him." And there was a point where people were walking and, there was a group of black people walking. They seen him standing on the side on the car with me, and they look, "Why are you standing on the car? You're not black, blah, 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 whatever." So then I see that negatively affected him. So I looked to him. I was like, "Hey, bro, don't worry about that, bro. Like, we're here for something bigger than that." They don't understand, but they will understand soon. So he looked at me, he smiled, and his confidence got back, and he stood back in front of me. So then maybe an hour had passed, and now 12 units, 12 cop cars start coming, rushing us. I'm getting scared, John, because I'm like, "Oh man, I don't know what's gonna happen." My brother and everybody, they ran behind the car. "Oh, Jarett, get off the car, Jarett, get off the car." But then the white gentleman, his name is Justin, he looked back and he's like, "Don't you move. Hold your sign up." Look, John. Okay. So I'm holding my sign up, and then they come over screaming, yelling, "Baba, get off the car!" Yeah, yeah. And then they didn't touch me. They didn't touch me not one time when I was on that car. And it was beautiful because it's like I feel like if enough white people got out there and protected, black people, a lot of black people won't get hurt, because there is such thing as privilege. And he exercised that. And I'm happy that he realized his privilege because a lot of people will say, "Oh no, there's no such thing as a privilege. Everyone's equal." Whoop, whoop. That's always debatable, but that day he exercised it, and I was not touched when I was on that car. Now, when they realized that he wasn't going to move and I wasn't going to move, they left. Now, an hour passed by again. This time they come and they're on this side, and the protesters are on this side, and I'm still in the middle. So they start shooting at the protesters. They have the little rubber bullets, whatever, but John, those things hurt. They shot some dude in the head. Instantly, he started bleeding. I've never seen nothing like this, man. Now I'm in a movie. I'm in a movie. Bodies dropping to my right, bodies dropping on my left, and I'm still holding my sign protesting. So then it gets to a point where I was like, "Man, this shit is crazy. This is enough." The protesters aren't, they don't have nothing to fight back. They're not even trying to fight back, but it's the officers shooting at them. And I'm happy that my friend recorded everything because, he's trying to make a little video of it. But so, John, I'm like, I'm tired of this. I hop off the car, and I don't know what made me do this, John. Like I don't know, a spirit or something was in me or told me to get off the car. I got off the car, and I stood in front of the cops and the protesters, and I got on one knee, and I was holding my sign up, and all of a sudden, Justin, the white gentleman that was in front of me, runs right over to me and kneels in front of me. So I'm holding it up, and I'm like, I couldn't believe what he just did. I'm in shock. So then, my brother comes because he was on the car. He comes and he goes behind me too. All of us, so we're all on our knees, John. I couldn't believe what I saw, man. The officers straight fired at us on our knees. Like, they fired at us, and Justin, he took 6 shots. Boom, boom, chest, all onto his body, all onto the side. And so I realized he's getting shot. I'm like, what the, So we get up and we go back to the car. and then Justin, his whole hand's bleeding, like he's busted open. And once again, John, I can't believe what was happening. I'm like, this is a real movie right now. So then I'm like, I take my bandana off and I clean up Justin's arm, hand, and I had to make sure he was okay. So then we're on that car again for another. But here's the thing. So since that had happened, they fired at us. Now the protesters are mad because they see us protesting on our knees. So you know those dumpsters that you go and you throw the trash in and everything?
Yeah.
Like, so they got 6 dumpsters. I don't know where they got this, John. Now I'm in a real movie. They got 6 dumpsters and they lined it up like this, like a line, and they rushed the officers, right? So the officers are running backwards shooting while the protesters are behind the dumpsters blocking it or whatnot. And then, the officers, they leave. They're gone. And another hour passed by. This time they have like, I've never seen so many police in my life, John. Like they had over 100 police officers there. This time, this time they were really aggressive. They weren't messing around this time. They were actually like, this time they came and they started firing at us on the car. They just start shooting, and Justin got hit three more times. But here's the thing, John. Not once did I get hit. Not once did I get touched. All because of Justin. All because of him, man. I'm probably gonna cry right now because like that dude really protected me, man. He let my message get out clear. And you know what, John? Let me read you my sign. My sign has said, "How could you hate me when I love you? How could you want to kill me when I want to live with you? Um, why continue to mistreat me when I treat you right? I may not be white, but I will fight for what's right." And I'm like, there's a lot of other people that have signs that said "fuck the police," "fuck 12," and all this, hatred stuff and whatnot. And for me to get shot, with that sign, let alone on my knees, like my whole mindset is just like really crazy. Like that really happened to me, like what is a proper protest to where you won't get hurt, because I'm a history hit, man. I know my history, and when I go over everything, I'm like, well, Martin Luther King got his butt kicked left and right, for just trying to vote, just trying to get the right to vote for us, and a lot of people will post, old pictures of Martin Luther King talking about this is how you protest, but they won't post pictures 5 minutes after what had happened to him when he protested. And that, for me, that really bothered me because it's like, you know what, you guys really don't know what's going on because the media is only allowing you to see what they want you to see. So you won't go out and protest. So you won't be that extra number, because when we started unifying, John, like this is that now I'm talking about another protest, because I went to like 4 or 5. The first one was the worst one because that was the heat of the moment of everything, So I kept going to protests and I kept posting on my social media because I get a lot of people that say, "Oh, I don't want to go because it's dangerous. Oh, I don't want to go because this and this happened." I'm like, okay, all right. So I went the next few times and it was peaceful, beautiful, peaceful. Everyone coming together. Now we're dancing. Now we're singing. Everyone's talking about, we want peace, we want justice. And the beautiful thing about it, John, is that we had white folks there from all ages. We had Hispanics from all ages. We had the Asians from all ages. We had Indian. We had every ethnicity out there. And to be honest with you, it was more of other ethnicity than black people out there. And for me to be out there and seeing all this, I'm like, damn, they're here for me, man. They really want change. And that's what really made me, even further the process of coming out more, and really, really, taking pictures and recording because I want people that aren't out there to see what's really happening at the protest, to see that there's really people out there looking for change, man. There's really people out there that want to unify with everyone. Like, why are we still going through this stuff? And it's 2020. We should be really going through, something different, to be going through this racist stuff. Is like, you're never going to kill off a race. Like we're going to have to live with each other one way or the other. So why not treat each other equally? And in the beginning, I'm not going to lie, John, in the beginning, it was bothering me because I was dealing with my job. And I have my jobs. I have people on Facebook and everything. I'm that type of guy where I'm open, like, hey, you add me, but I'm not going to talk any political. I'm not going to talk any race. No, the only thing I'm going to talk, is fighting, you know what I mean? Or some positive, I don't like to get in certain things because at the end of the day, I'm going to be judged no matter. I'm already getting judged, for being a black man, I'm already getting classified as a thug or whatnot. So, for the people that actually know me, to see that I went out there for a good cause, that really touched me because I lost a lot of friends, but I guess the beauty of it all is that you gain some real friends during the time that you really need them, and you find out the ones that are really never your friends in the beginning, and it really did bother me because um, from training at the gym. I have people that I'm really cool with, of different ethnicity, and to have that back of my mind to damn, I don't want people to think that I'm a bad person, or me protesting, I'm vandalizing or I'm looting. No, I'm not. So I was trying to use my platform, which is whatever social media I have, to let people know, hey, I'm not for that, but I'm going to let you know why black people are mad, because a lot of people think that it's one person, John. They think that, oh man, black people, they're mad because one person was dead. No, this is 400 years of this that's been happening to us on American soil. And I feel like if people were to do just do some history of black people on American soil, then maybe they'll feel our pain. They'll start understanding that, damn, all these people want is equality. They should want revenge, but all they want is equality. That's it, and to see that we've been, we get treated like shit, it hurts me, because we technically only been free for about 52 years, since that Civil Rights Act been passed. That's 52 years ago, and that's when Martin Luther King died. When you really think about that, John, like, I'm only 28 years old. So if we subtract that, that's like 30 years fresh, and you still have people that are old enough, that lived through that time, that are still alive today, that raised the younger generation the same way they've been raised. So now they're getting older and they have this mindset of, it's bad. It's so bad that, it, I felt like it was a call to duty for me to go out there and protest, and not only that, to take it a little further and do a little history rewind on social media. I get a lot of messages and from people that don't agree with me, which is fine, but don't judge me without talking to me. If you're going to disagree, let's talk about it. But I'm going to make you research what you're disagreeing about, to know that what I'm talking about is straight facts. Because I'll never be that type of man that goes out and just post blasphemy, post bullcrap. No, I'm going to post history. You're not going to like it because, yes, it's going to have a lot to deal with your race, because white people have done a lot to black people on American soil. So if I'm talking about history, do your history and you will realize and you will see that, damn, we really have been treated like that for a long time. And I think people forget at a point that we were slaves, on American soil. So just to think about that, let alone, and people say 400 years. Oh, that was 400 years ago. All right, let's just say a average lifespan is 50 years. That's 8 generations. That's really not that long ago, because when we were free, technically, when Abraham Lincoln let us free in 1863, we still were slaves because some people didn't want us to be free. So that was another 2.5 years until we were actually free. And then when we were free, we had little rights. And then they built the prison cells, and it was a mass incarceration of black people. And, that's why there's never a male father figure around, because, they take the male father figure out the picture, and then boom, you're raised by the women, and it's sad because, man, John, all I want people to do is just know my history, man. Just know my history, learn my history, and then you'll understand our pain. It's not just one person. Yeah, it's one person why we went out there and protest, because we got tired of that. That's been going on for years. And to hear people talk about, oh, it's just one person, he should have not resisted. Like, I get a lot of people tell me, oh, he should, black people should not resist arrest. And it's like, black people aren't the only one that resist. I don't like to keep going through this debate because it's like people resist. Stop classifying one group of people and let's talk about people in general, because I see a lot of videos of white people resisting. I see a lot of videos of white people doing things that I'm like, damn, if I would have done that, it would have been I would have been done. Just recently I saw a video of a white man killed two people and a kid, run outside naked, and the police officer didn't shoot him, didn't tase him. They were very patient with this man. It's like they waited for him to get tired to peacefully arrest him. And I'm like, how could you not tell me that's not double standards when you have four officers on a black man and then you kill him on someone, while someone's recording? That's painful to watch, because how we watch it, John, this is how we watch it. We know our history, and, they used to kill us in front of the slaves, so the slaves will be more obedient, be more submissive and stuff. So us watching that was a lynch to us, that was a lynch. And it's very painful because it's like, yeah, it's a white man doing that, and obviously if somebody of color would have fought back, it would have been a big issue. Which brings me to my point again, to where I feel like if change were to really happen, it has to start with, white people, the white man. He has to go out there and protect us, the brothers, because when I tell you this, man, when Justin went out there and protected me, look, I don't have no bruises, Jar, like nothing, nothing. That man protected me, and I felt like my message got across, because a lot of people took pictures of that, and it was crazy because LA Times have posted that picture, and on Instagram or whatnot. And I'm reading the comments, people, oh, they should not even be on that car talking all this shit. But then the people that were there are like, you didn't even read his sign. That guy wasn't even there for that. Like, read his sign. It's a peaceful sign. And that touched me, because it's like, I don't even have to comment. I don't even have to be like defend myself, because I got all these people defending, and there was thousands of people that was there that took pictures, that watched that. So I'm like, okay, cool. But what kind of got underneath my skin was, I got interviewed by, one of the newscasts or whatnot. I think it was Channel 2 or whatnot. And I wasn't an angry person, I wasn't looting, I wasn't vandalizing. I was just speaking proper English. I'm on the newscast. I have people that know me. I gotta, I'm my mom's son. I can't be a certain way. Well, that's not how I am anyway. So I'm being myself regardless. But I realize that if I'm not angry black man, if I'm not looting, if I'm not vandalizing, it's not good TV. Nobody wants to hear somebody really trying to protest. Nobody wants to hear somebody really trying to make a difference. And that hurt me, because, I know I have so many people on social media that be posting all this bogus crap of the Black Lives Matter movement, and I'm like, you're not even there. You don't know what's really going on. There's people that don't care, and there's people that care. When I was on that car holding my sign, there was a black lady from the Black Lives Movement trying to stop all the rioting. She's yelling at them, stop, the news are going to say it's the black people doing it. And I'm not going to say black people wasn't doing some of the stuff, but, it was the white people, it was the Hispanics, it was a group of just everybody. And it sucks, because when the news put it on, it's just Black Lives Matter. And now it's like this, John. If you don't know what's going on, right, and you just tuned in to the news and you see a bunch of black folks just rioting, just looting and all stuff, you're gonna be like, oh man, fuck, oh, I'm sorry, John, for but you're gonna forget them. You know what I mean? Like, what the heck? Like, and that's what I was getting on social media from, one of my friends. Just matter of fact, today, she was posting nothing but black people resisting, and that bothered me, because it's like, now you're painting this image to everyone else that see people protesting, that see people actually, trying to make a difference. Now you paint an image to where, oh, nah, all of them are doing that. And it hurt me because I'm telling her, I'm like, well, why don't you post, white people resisting? Because we're all resisting. It's not just black folks. Stop trying to play that one card to now you're taking the attention away from the movement, from the message, because now people are like, oh, forget it. They're just terrorizing stuff. They're not trying to make a change. They're making things worse. And now you got here's the thing too, John. Now you got the real racist people now, right? That's looking at it like, okay, all right. So what's been happening now is eight black young people have been lynched, have been hung off a tree less than 2 weeks, John. And what tears me up deep inside is that the news and police officers are saying that it was a suicide. How many suicides of hanging on a tree in 2 weeks? I mean, come on now. Come on now. Back in the day, we were lynched off of a tree. Just the same way how supposedly they did suicide. That's how we were lynched off of a tree. And it's a coincidence that it's black folks getting lynched off of a tree, consecutively. And the majority of them, or three, four of them, are protesters. And I'm just like, damn, we really got hatred in the world. And I feel like now I'm just on revolutionary suicide, and I kind of am content with that because I feel like I know what I'm doing is right. I'm not out there shooting people. I'm not out there stealing. I'm not out there tagging. I'm out there trying to get a message across. Like, look, y'all, we trying to live together. You know, we ain't just because we know our history don't mean we going to do what you did to us. We're not going to do it back to you. Because 400 years, John, of just turning the cheek, taking the stuff, and it's like we're in a new generation. You think that these young black kids, boys, girls, don't know the history of what's happened to their mom, their dad, their grandparents? We know our history. We know all that. So when we see that happen to George Floyd, we're like, oh, damn, we're living in this time? And then when we see, when they closed up America, we see all these white folks go up to the courthouse with guns and everything, protesting, demanding to open up America. If there was a black person with a gun, John, he would have been shot dead in the head, right then and there. And that's the double standards that people need to, really look at and be like, damn, you know what? Yeah, privilege. And it really does bother me because, you know, I don't, it's sad that I have to go to this extent. Like I haven't even went back to training, John, like to my gym, because at the end of the day, I feel like I can't go back yet. I spoke too much. I spoke too soon that, if a point don't get across, then I'm probably labeled as whatever, people feel some type of way, and I feel like, yeah, I want to go back to training. I would love to get back up in there, but with everything going on, everything, I kind of don't feel safe because at the end of the day, I'm dealing with, you know, a whole different, set of people. I'm dealing with people. I'm dealing with different ethnicities, and maybe somebody don't like what I'm saying. Maybe someone's like, "What the fuck?" Forget that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I get so many messages, John, on Instagram of white older men. But here's the beautiful thing about it: they're not arguing with me. They're not, cussing at me or calling me names or anything. They're like, damn, bro, I didn't know that. Keep posting those videos because now I'm learning right now. And that's all I ask people to do because when you're a child, there's a system that you have to learn. When I was a kid, John, I'm learning about George Washington. I'm learning about all these presidents, but not once did they say that George Washington had 300 slaves. They didn't say Thomas Jefferson had slaves. They didn't say the first 15 presidents had slaves. Where's my people in these history books? The only time I learned about my history, John, when I was a kid was Black History Month. And that's just a month, 28 days in February, whatever how many days. And it's like, when I'm learning about that, I'm just learning that we were just slaves. So it hurts me because it's like, as an older man now, I got to backtrack now because I gotta go all the way back now because we were barely called African American in 1989. So did I identify with that? What was my name before that? Who were we before that? Because African and American slapped together as two continents. Now, before that, we were called colored, black. Okay, well, black is just a color, I can't identify with that, So who am I? Since we've been here, we've been called so many names by, white people. And we finally settle with African American. Nah, I don't want to settle with that. I want to settle with what I was called way before, 400 years prior, where we were in our native land. Like, this ain't my native tongue. I can't even speak, a different language. I'm speaking English, and it's sad because we've been stripped of our language, stripped of our religion, our culture, stripped of our God, everything. We've been stripped of everything, and it's like when you take an old generation from where they're at and you kill off that old generation, but you start breeding the women for new babies and new generation that's born into slavery, and you can't teach none of the history, you control everything, you know for 300-400 years you controlled my whole history. You know who we really are, but you're not saying who we really are. You know where we took us from, but you're not saying that. And that right there, when I started promoting that or just talking about history, I get so many messages of people say, I didn't even know that. Like, damn, I gotta do my own dang history. And that's what I feel like needs to be taught now. Like, a lot of people need to know that, hey, the African American people, number one, we ain't African American, because that's, we've been called that for 20 something years now. Before, my mom's birth certificate, it says freaking Negro, it says colored. It's, like, all that's been, name that they called us. Is like, what is our name? What are our names? And I think when people actually just start looking into history or whatnot, then maybe they'll start understanding our pain. Maybe they'll start understanding, like, damn, like, all they've been doing for the past years is trying to be equal, trying to fight for equality. That's it. There's no history of black people killing white people. There's no history of that. There's a history of white people killing black people. And, you know, I, it's sad that I even have to talk about stuff like that. But when I talk about history, that's facts. That's truth, facts, everything. And people need to really look into it. Like, dang, like, black people have been, terrorized. We're dealing with the KKK, the number one gang in America, and it's sad because it's like you don't know if they're police officers or not. You don't know if they're nurses or who they are or whatnot. You just know it's hatred. Why do you hate me because of the color of my skin? I don't understand that. And I never understood that as a kid because my mom raised me and my brothers. There was no color line. But the sad thing about it is she's letting us know we're black. What does that mean? Well, son, there's certain things you can and cannot do in this world. What do you mean, mom? How do you tell your boy or your girl the limitations that they have? And that pains me as a man because now that I'm older, I'm starting to realize everything that she had taught me is why I'm still alive till this day. Because if I wasn't taught a certain way, it's like you have to learn how to live as a black man in America. There's certain things you cannot do. And when I see white people do certain things, I'm like, okay, shit. I know if I did that, it would have been over for me. When I get pulled over for an officer, man, I get scared. My key, I turn it off. Yes, sir. No, sir. I'm kissing ass like no other because my life is in his hands. I don't know what he's going to do to me. I've seen so many videos of black people getting killed and everything. I'm like, man, this can't be me, And, it's so sad that I even, have to experience this because I don't want nobody to experience nothing like this, and it's sad because, they got these children over there in that ICE detention little center. And, I speak up on that too because injustice is injustice. You got these kids in there for months. Now they're coming out pregnant. Now their innocence is taken away. How could you do that? How could you do that to a little girl? Like that pleasure right there, that's something that you can enjoy when you're older. You know what I mean? Now you're never going to enjoy that. When you finally want to enjoy it, you're always going to have that back of your head. And that's what was happening to my people. for 400 years they were getting, raped and all this other crap. And for me to actually see that happen to another set of people on American soil is like, okay, well, shit, you know what? There's another thing we have to attack now, because we have to get these children out of there and protect their innocence, because there's 2,000 cases against ICE over there regarding that. And, it's like someone needs to investigate that. Because if you get, I don't care if you're an immigrant. Like, how could you, call immigrants, like, they have an ethnicity? It's so sad that, people that actually trying to make a difference for themselves, better than life, come to America for that. The land of the free. They come over here for that. And then when they get here and they, shit happens and they're locked up in the jail cell all damn day and they can't control, anything that happens, it's like, wow, these girls are really, this is really happening, and people think it's not happening, but I know my history and I know what used to happen. Like, man, what's so sad about our history is this. We were property, John, where I'm with my mom, my dad. Here comes the slave master. He just sold me to another plantation. I'm never talking to my parents again. They just split up our family lines like that. African Americans on American soil, family lines have been so messed up. I don't even know if I'm talking to my long lost sister or my long lost cousin or anything like that. And it's so sad because, when you do, they have that little ancestry little thing online. And so man, we can't ever track that. Our things are so messed up that, we can't ever track that. And it pains me because it's like, man, people, how could you do that to a people for so long? And when people be like, oh, black people, I get all this black people lazy, blah, blah, blah. It's like, for 400 years, sun up to sundown, working for free, and they promised us 40 acres and a mule, and then, vetoes it. Like, a lot of people, what tears me too is that a lot of people don't know what the Civil War is about. The Civil War was about the South versus the North. The South wanted to expand slavery to the North. Are you serious? They wanted to expand slavery over to the North. So what did they do? They had a war about it. And it's so sad that this was the biggest, the deadliest war. World War I, World War II, all that combined, all the casualties was on Civil War because of slavery. And it bothers me because now, a lot of people are like, oh, why are we going to take down the Confederate flag? Well, shoot, we need to evaluate that, because the Confederate flag was 13 colonies and they all owned slaves, and, to take it another step, it's like we need to evaluate everything, matter of fact, because the Constitution, all that was written when we were still slaves, when they said all men are created equal. Well, what men are you talking about? Because, the black man that you label 3/5 of a man, is not created equal. He's still a slave. It took 100 years after that to free us. And, I think that a lot of things need to be relooked at, like, hey, because when I look at things, I'm like, man, we were still slaves during these times, and it really hurts me because it's like, even when we weren't slaves, we were still getting brutalized by the KKK, hanging us, burning us. It's like so much uh, things has happened to us. It's so sad that, you know, people don't see that all we want is equality. We don't want no fucking revenge. I'm sorry for cussing, John. We don't want no revenge. We want to live amongst everyone. We just want to be accepted. I want to be accepted. You know, the average lifespan of a black man, shoot, he'll be lucky if he make it to 30. Because all these, you're either in jail, for a simple little, misdemeanor or something for the rest of your life, or you're 6 feet under. And it pains me because I never understood why I'll get 20 missed calls, 100 text messages from my mom when I was a little boy, outside playing late, calling me worried, staying up late at night until I got home. I understand. I was like, well, I'm a boy. What the heck? I'll come home when I want. But it was because I was black. I'm a black man. She knew that me being out there, that, hey, anything, everything can happen to me. And I didn't understand that until, once again, I got older and I started experiencing, racism and everything like that. And It's crazy because no matter what I go through or whatnot, John, I'm always gonna love people for people, because just because one person or maybe a mass of people are a certain way doesn't mean that one person is. And if I can change that one person's mindset, then he has the capabilities to change everyone else's. Because what he's going to do, he's going to go back over there and educate them. Let them know, hey man, I got this cool friend, Jarett. He's a black dude. I love him. Blah 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 blah. Not all of them are thugs. Not all of them are like this. I'm gonna go out there and protest with him. And that's how it starts right there. And I'm very happy that I am the way that I am, because I do attract all walks of life, and I'm able to have conversations like this, to any and everybody. I'm able to talk to white people and bring up history. And this morning I had a gentleman um, going at it with me, just boom, boom, yelling. I can feel that yelling at me through the messages on Facebook and everything. But he said something about, oh, 400 years ago was a long time ago. But when I gave him the rundown from 1619 all the way down to 1954 of what we were going through and what we were facing through, and even 52 years later, now he was kind of like, damn. His messages was this. He said, hey man, I just want to apologize for going off on you earlier. I just realized that you're very educated and you know your stuff, and I just Google a few things, and man, I'm very sorry, and let me start educating myself. And I told him straight up, I was like, look man, I'm not here to disrespect nobody. I'm me learning my own dang history and telling everybody, we all learn it now. This is how we evolve into the future, because you are the new generation. You're not the old generation. So you still have an opportunity to change your ways and the next generation ways by just promoting love. Like, hey, don't look at me from my skin color. Look at me how I'm talking. Look at me, for my actions of what I'm doing. And, I think that's how you judge people, if you want to just judge people, because like I said, John, there's never been a time. And like I said, I know history, I know we've been lynched. I know we've been by white folks, everything. That does not mean I hate white people. I have so many white friends, so many white friends. Even when at training, I have white friends. We laugh, we talk about, and it got to a point, John, that I even had to message some of my teammates, man, and let them know, hey, look, man, you know me, you know my intentions, blah, blah, blah. And they were like, look, I support you. I know what you're going through. And that touched me because, I feel like I really don't have to scoop to that level, but then again, I have to, because I don't want them to judge me for somebody I'm really not when you really know me, you know. But if you're going to be my friend, then I'm a package deal. Same thing if I'm dating outside my race, I'm a package deal. You got to know that I come with a struggle. I come with a target on me to where, people be like, oh, no, no. I'm like, yeah, when you're black, you'd be surprised. And, there was a time where, I was, I had a friend, I'm not going to mention his name, but I had a friend, I was at a baby shower. Long story short, I got called a nigger. I was the only black person there. And I got called a nigger. And my friend was so shocked. Like, he didn't know what to say or do. And I was in a bad situation because now I am at my teammates' house. So I'm amongst like six fighters and the whole family now. So if I were to cuss at her or say anything back, now I'm dealing with a whole massive crew of people. So I was in an awkward situation then. And my friend, till this day, he's like, man, Jarett, like, I didn't know it was like that, and I said, hey, man, hey, it is what it is. All you can do is just, toughen your skin and live to see another day, I hope. But, during this whole little thing that's been going on, um, I'm very fortunate that I felt like I've touched a lot of people because I've made a lot more new friends, of different races. I have a lot of people from different states talking about, hey, what do you need? Do you need a care package? What do you need? We're trying to help. We see you're trying to make a difference. And when I posted that video of me getting shot at, it was crazy because like I get a lot of people telling me, man, I've never the news aren't showing us this. The news aren't showing us real protesters. The news aren't showing us people that's trying to make a difference. All they're showing us is vandalism and looting. That's why we're so uninformative of knowing what's going on, that's why we don't support it. And I tell them, I'm like, man, that's why you need to get out there and actually see what's going on. You can't watch the news because the news is going to show you wherever the heck they want to show you. They don't care, about anything positive. Like, oh no, we're going to keep this long going because the ratings and everything. And I didn't like that. I didn't like that at all because it puts another negative image on black people.